have an 8-year-old son that's autistic, also has some intellectual impairment.
Yep.
We have a tricky time at school. Would that be a law of attraction, my law of attraction, that I need to also take responsibility
Autism I've
for
talked
that?
about before, and there's been quite a few times I've talked about autism.
I missed that, sorry.
And I can't remember what DVDs they're on, if you want to look at them. I think one of them is on an Armadale DVD, where I talked to a couple who had an autistic child. And I've talked about it a number of times. But basically autism is where there's so much barrage of emotions from the child's environment that the child is now totally in tune only with its environmental emotions and not its own.
That's why hence I'm wondering what responsibility I have in conjunction with interaction with that child.
Whoever is in it...
What law of attraction have I attracted for that to come into my home?
You've attracted a very, very sensitive soul into your life who is so sensitive to emotions that all he's feeling is everyone else's emotions and not his own.
And hence I have mixed emotions about the education system, the environment that...
Of course. Yeah, the education system's hopeless for an autistic child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Though I have a lot of blame on others, I have a lot of blame on myself for knowing which
Blame on yourself, by the way, is just as bad as blame on others. That's not the same as responsibility.
Working through all of that, though, I have had that blame, and I recognise all of that blame and try and get rid of that, but it's still very strong within me.
Can I just say to everyone, actually, when you blame yourself, that is just as much of not taking responsibility as blaming others. When you take responsibility, it's very, very different than blaming yourself.
Hence, I'll try and be clearer. Is there an aspect that he is reflecting to me my law of attraction on top of being who he is? Is that something that I can actually face or take responsibility for, something that will actually ease his life?
Totally.
Yes.
If you own every single one of your emotions, particularly towards the male that you feel inside of yourself, and whoever is your partner, if you have one, or whoever's ever helping you care for the child, also takes responsibility for their emotions every single moment of the day, what will happen is the child will now no longer be feeling a barrage of people who are taking no responsibility for their emotions.
So his has definitely increased with my lack of responsibility.
I'm not saying I'm saying it's caused totally by.
Well, okay.
Not just increased.
Yep.
I'm saying an autistic child is caused totally by the barrage of stuff from the emotions from all of the environment. So it can be whoever is interacting with the child in the environment. So my suggestion for any person who has an autistic child is to view it like God telling them 24/7 what's going on at any single moment with the child's emotion. Now, when the child is no longer feeling this huge barrage of emotion coming from its environment that it's reflecting back to its environment, right? And in particular, if it's a male child, look at your attitude towards men. Look at your stuff towards men. Do you have a female child as well? Or you only have one child?
No, I have 3 children.
Three children?
Male.
All male? And one of them autistic?
Well, one of them that's troubled with autism.
One of them's troubled with autism, okay. Well, that's a very sensitive child. If it's a male, then look very seriously at the aspects of how you feel towards the male. Because they're receiving just a barrage of emotions about them that they are totally out of tune with themselves. Now, when they stop receiving this barrage of emotions, you'll find that they are completely free and open to be themselves again, and they will start having emotions inside of themselves that come from themselves. So you know how, often you feel like there's no love in them and there's no, they don't seem to understand love. And
he has plenty of love.
Of course. And you can see that as you release these different emotions towards the male, you'll find that love and his own concept of himself will change much.
That's what he needs.
Yeah. Now, one of our batteries is going dead, so I'll just check which one it is. It looks like it might be mine.
Thanks for that.
What is that? All right. Now, I'm not going to have a break tonight. I'm pretty much going to only talk for a couple of hours, and I've nearly done that. and then we'll be finishing. And that way we won't finish too late, as we've been finishing on other occasions. So, but do you understand what's going on there with regard to, it's to do with the emotions that it's receiving from its environment that is so overpowering that it cannot feel for itself.
And his mind.
If you use a mic, yep.
Say then, with my confusion about him branching out to the rest of the world and the issues he has with that will just diminish with me sorting out my own
issues with the rest of the world.
With the rest of the world.
Spot on.
And so it is my responsibility, he is my responsibility, all of that is my responsibility of taking responsibility.
Yes.
Not my responsibility, but me taking responsibility.
For your own emotions.
Yes.
And that's the key part. You need to take responsibility for your own emotions. It doesn't mean that you're to blame for your emotions that are in you.
No.
Because your emotions were created by your environment as a child, that you didn't heal, that parents didn't heal their stuff, and the environment didn't heal their, as well, and all of those. So how can we blame you for what's created in the child? But we can actually take responsibility for those emotions and process our way through those emotions and release those emotions, and as you do so, you will notice a big change.
I think my blame was just the impatience of not getting ahead faster. That was probably my blame.
Well, it's very easy to blame yourself with an autistic child because the autistic child is reflecting instantly every single unhealed emotion. And of course, in one person at any one point in time at the beginning of this process, we have quite a list of unhealed emotions. And so it's so frustrating because it's only when the barrage of emotions lessens to a point where there's a critical mass where the child will start actually having its own life and being able to live a normal life as a so-called normal child, right? And because there's usually this whole long list of barrage of emotions, not just one emotion, that's being projected at the child. And this is the problem, is that the beauty of having an autistic child is it's like a fast track to divine love in the end. It is, because it's like having God in your face 24/7. The child is instantly reflecting everything back at you. And I know it's very frustrating at times.
It is frustrating, but it is beautiful.
But it is beautiful.
I see the beauty.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a way actually for you to really work through a lot of stuff quite rapidly if you think about it, if you choose to take responsibility for what's going on inside of yourself. So all of the way your child reflects to the environment is all the way you actually feel inside of yourself towards this environment that your child is in. All the way the child interacts with you is a reflection of all the unhealed emotions within yourself that need to be healed. How your child reacts to its father is all a reflection of his own, or any other male caregiver, is a reflection of their own emotions and what they need to heal inside of themselves. You've got this perfect little emotional machine showing you at every single moment what's going on with you. And it's a wonderful thing, really. And this is one reason why autism is becoming something that is growing as a problem on the world, is because the condition of the earth is lightening, which actually means that new children that are being incarnating and being born are actually far more sensitive to emotion. And as a result of their sensitivity to emotion, they are also very overwhelmed at the barrage of emotions that they often get from their environment. Yeah. So you've attracted one of those little sensitive souls.
Thanks again.
No worries.